Welcome back to another episode of Catholics Living Discipleship. I'm your host, Darren Nelson. In today's conversation, we have a follow-up conversation with Matthe Hiracheta from ACS Technologies. He's a senior solutions consultant. And in our first conversation, he introduced Ministry Platform to us and helped us to understand how this database management tool is a very effective and efficient tool in helping us to better manage our parish information and help us to become more mission focused. In today's episode, Matthe now takes us through a conversation where we talk about what are the first next steps that a parish does when it has decided to implement Ministry Platform. So it's a great conversation to listen to if you're looking to understand how this company can support you in implementing and what are some of the first steps that parishes do take when they have implemented Ministry Platform. Another thing, if you are going to be attending the International Catholic Stewardship Conference this September, the 2025 ICSC, I would encourage you to stop by their booth because they will be there. They're a great team to be talking to. And always be sure to check out our show notes because the links to ACS Technology and anything that we discuss will be in the show notes below. And if you haven't, I encourage you to subscribe if you're enjoying this podcast, and please share this episode with someone that you know. So let's get into our conversation with Matthe. Well, hey, Matt, thanks again for coming back to Catholics Living Discipleship. I'm excited about this conversation that we're going to have today. The last time you were on, you introduced us to Ministry Platform and really helped us to understand what that means and how effective that can be for our parishes. But today we're going to talk about what's the next step, like in implementing Ministry Platform. What are 4 key steps, and I'll let you expand upon that. But what's the way in which you can implement this in those 4 steps? So I'm excited to have the listeners hear that.
Sure.
But before we do that, just in case someone's listening to this, watching this, who is not familiar with Ministry Platform, I would encourage you to definitely check out our first episode, first on Ministry Platform. But why don't you give us a brief overview of what Ministry Platform is, introduce yourself again, but
Sure.
what Ministry Platform is, and then we'll get into those, how to implement it at your parish.
Sure. And thank you again for having me on, Darren. I really appreciate the opportunity. It was great speaking with you last time. My name is Matthe Hiracheta. I am a senior solutions consultant here at ACST Catholic and have spent almost a decade now serving parishes and dioceses all across the US and Canada. And I work with the rest of the Catholic team to really provide meaningful solutions that's going to meet your diocesan or parish needs and the solution that best aligns with those needs. And, talking about Ministry Platform itself, so it's a cloud-based, it's really a modern cloud-based centralized software that can really be used for a multitude of different parish and diocesan needs. It can handle simple parish management with things like household data, contribution, sacramental and sacramental information, certificates, things like that. But it could also have a much broader approach at a parish or diocesan level. And what I mean by that is you can manage things like communications through email or texting, donor management, diocesan appeals for stewardship and capital campaigns, even new parishioner registration, and really in measuring things like engagement, ministry scheduling, events, and things like facilities management as well. So it's more of a catch-all centralized database. It's more of an all-in-one instead of having to use multiple processes and databases to try and manage your parish or diocesan needs. And a lot of things are customizable on ministry platform. So there's a lot of tools that you could utilize in this, and you could use it on the go, meaning, you could use it on a PC, laptop, Mac, iPad, phone, whatever you'd like.
Yeah. And one thing that really excited me about the platform, Matt, is the dashboard. And the reason why it excited me, I love what the dashboard can provide to anyone from like the ministry leader up to the pastor, and it can be customized to their viewpoint, right? Like
Right.
you're able to see in a snapshot the key indicators that you want to see. And for a pastor, that could be multiple things, but just imagine being able to go onto that dashboard and be able to see, hey, this month we've had X amount of new parishioners, or this month we've had a Bible study, sign up for a Bible study, these many people are engaged in it. Like that is, I think, a treasure trove. I've worked with another organization that used HubSpot, and people are, I'm sure a lot of corporate people are familiar with HubSpot, and what you can see with HubSpot dashboard, that tool, that's what ministry platform offers you at the parish level. That's exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that's kind of similar to that, right? There's a lot of different things that you could kind of consider that with, but the customization, as you spoke about, it really can be tailored to what you need. If you want to see a certain view on, how many people registered for OCIA, or, who registered for your last event, and track that over time to plan for future events, or, maybe add a little pizzazz to get more people to sign up for the new events, upcoming events. Uh, this just gives you more tools to be able to strategically plan and align with what your goals are at your parish.
Hmm. Hmm. And I know this, this. Numbers isn't everything. Like we're certainly not looking to grow our parish so that we can see a lot of numbers.
Right.
However, we do want to foster and grow disciples, right? And as we do that, as we increase our mission, we increase those who are participating in the parish, right? And that's what this dashboard can help you see and help you discover. And the podcast that we did with Emily on Mission Insight really spoke to that. That's a whole nother. If you haven't seen that podcast, I would encourage you to do that. But
Yeah.
that's what we're really talking about. We are talking about mission, but the numbers, what we're talking about, are the way in which we're seeing the mission grow or could be grown at the parish level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it all starts with the people. I mean, you wouldn't have numbers if you didn't
Right.
have people,
Yeah.
right? But again, going back to your point, numbers are great, but it really starts with that mission.
Yeah.
So you have to be intentional about that, right? Whether it's your messaging, or, the different ministry areas that you're creating, and the ways that you connect with people to first evangelize. And then, over time, that turns into different opportunities across the lifespan of someone's faith, and turns into things like stewardship and development. So being able to see those different numbers to pull out of the system in terms of what a person is doing, their activity levels, that should be very encouraging to Father and the rest of the staff, and being able to see things like that, to know that you're doing the right things, or if there's maybe low engagement in some areas, then that could use some improvement. And how do we do that? So it really comes down to walking with people in their journey
Yeah.
to get closer to Christ and grow in the kingdom. And these are just tools to be able to do that. We're
Yep.
not trying to replace anything or any type of processes. We're just trying to help enable you with your ministry.
Yeah. And I can almost guarantee that anyone who's watching or listening to this, you desire greater engagement and accompaniment. You desire to help your parish grow, and ministry platform is just providing a platform for the way in which you can see the potential and manage that, and it's just fantastic. So, Matt, let's shift into a parish that has made that decision.
Mhm.
Okay, we see the potential of what ministry platform can do for us. Yes, we want to implement this. What are the next steps? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So, the first part would be scheduling a call with our ministry success team, and they're really the engines of the next steps of your process and the first steps in implementing your software, right? And it can be overwhelming. It certainly can be. It's a new system. There's going to be a learning curve, moving to MP from what you may be using now. But ultimately, we're not just dropping you off in the woods here. We walk with you every step of the way, and we help in every aspect that you would want to be assisted in, but there's some definitely some steps that you would need to take as a parish or a diocese that would be extremely helpful, both in the leading up to moving over to ministry platform, and then the first steps of implementation, and throughout the first, I guess, the baby steps portion of implementing ministry platform and rolling it out to your parish or to your diocese. So, I'd say the first step is really clearly define, um, your priority areas of what you would need, or your must-haves to set up the system for your parish. Think about things like, your groups or your ministry areas, religious education, the different types of reports and views that you want to see right off the bat, sacramental information and certificates. If you have a special certificate that you would like to have presented or to be able to print off, that is something that we could help customize for you. Giving and pledge information and being able to set that up, our team will help you with that as well. And then things like uh, that go along with that would be contributions and communications, like email and texting, right? Those are important first steps. And you may be looking into the design and content for things that you want to interact with your website. We call that the parishioner experience, or widgets, if you will, that we actually put on your website, but we help you design these. Um, you know, it would be very helpful, though, for the parish or the diocese, if you have something in mind or different types of areas that you would like to target, that you would like to focus on for the initial implementation process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hearing two things that hopefully the viewers, listeners are hearing as well. First of all, you're not just selling us a software and
Correct.
saying good luck, you know. Um, the second is that you want the parish to see success, so by asking them, hey, what are the priorities, right? You're you're really consulting with them or helping them to look at all that they have, maybe managing it in different databases, you know, and really at a collaborative effort, pulling all that information together so that within ministry platform, it can be a little bit more effective and efficient for everyone from the pastor to the ministry leader. So you're really helping them to, for what I hear is to really say, let's prioritize this together. And I'm sure from experience, you guys also bring in, here's some other things you might want to think about.
Absolutely. Yeah, that goes along with that initial implementation process. So we could provide examples of like different parishes or dioceses that have maybe implemented it this way or that way and try to give some tips and tricks, if you will, pointers and really there's a core there that we start out with, and then it's a collaboration between our ministry success experts and your team as well. And I'll go, a little bit deeper into that and say, I would say not only define the areas that you're really want to start out with, but you also have to define people who will be your main users in the software. And we refer to them as SPOCs or single points of contact. These are going to be resources for your staff, your other staff members that may not be the main users of the program, but still have some access to the system. And other people like volunteers that will be leading your ministry groups that may not have access, but still need to oversee different groups or ministry areas or classes. And then parishioners as well. So you'll have somebody at the parish or the diocese or multiple people that will be trained specifically on ministry platform. And so they'll be kind of like the first line of uh, contact for
Mm-hmm.
you. And then you're also going to have our support team backing you up throughout the whole process, right? So, whether that's calling someone on the telephone and speaking to someone, a live person, text, chat, you even have a ticket system that you can put in as a staff member to reach out to our experts here at the ministry platform team that will help guide you through the process. Um, it's really kind of up to you on how you want to set this system up, but just know that we will be here for you every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you have experienced data migration, right? That's always a concern. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we got so much data. We got to
Yeah.
migrate it. How are we going to migrate it? What's the format? When we migrate it, are there going to be duplicates? Are we going to have everybody in there?
Yeah.
That's a concern, right? That's a concern people have.
It's a huge concern, right? So, I mean, that's probably one of the main things that almost every conversation I have, it's somewhere in there in the
Mm-hmm.
conversation. What's the data conversion process look like, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
we have a large team of experts here at ACST Catholic that work nonstop. They've been doing this for quite a while. They're experts in what they do, and what they do is data conversion, whether it's from our ACS products, meaning like ACS, PDS, Realm, things like that. Very well versed in that. But we also have data conversion tools built out for other systems that are not under the ACS umbrella that we see a lot of clients come from. So every major third party out there, we have a conversion process for them. So very confident in our team and what we could do to make it a smooth data conversion process for them.
Mm-hmm. So, so what we've heard so far is
Mhm.
data gathering, get the information, and what's the priority. Identifying some key, you call them SPOCs,
Yep.
right? Identifying some key people at the parish who are going to be the users. Data migration, you guys have a team. So let's say now we're there. The data
Mhm.
migration's complete. We have our key people. What has been some of your experience where do the parishes go next? Like, what are some of the first things that you see parishes use ministry platform and really helping them feel or be a little bit different than where they were before ministry platform?
Sure. So, obviously the priority areas, we want you to be well versed on those areas first. When you start venturing out into other aspects of the parish. Think about things like facilities management. If you are currently, just have a sign up sheet or something like that, or maybe using another software to do that, that may be an area that you want to focus on, right? This can lead into scheduling different resources for your events or, just meetings, staff meetings, um, your different religious ed classes and the different rooms throughout the buildings in your parish, that gets to be really important. So if you could manage that a little bit better and also have people view that schedule, I think that's a huge help to parishes. Some of them may not be using something like that right now, or what they're using is again in another database, another software. They got to keep up with that versus having everything in one area. So it could be very cumbersome to do that. And so I would say that area would be after you get the basics down, the ABCs, maybe you want to start venturing into that or setting up a mobile app to be able to really customize your outreach and evangelization process. It's because our mobile app is highly customizable,
Mm.
and it's a very powerful tool because you could utilize it to reach out to your audience versus them having to come to your website and see your content there. It's pretty much the same content. You could target differently with that mobile app, but you could also add things like your logo. People could use that as a prayer request or a online directory straight from their phone. Father could look up directions to a parishioner's house if they needed
Hmm.
to. So it's a very helpful tool. It allows people to sign up, see, what's going on at the parish for different events, but also sign up for things like groups. Um, Use it as a prayer tool as well. And so it could be very, down the road, it could be a very useful thing for both parishioners and staff as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm. And when you talked about identifying those different contacts, the SPOC, so to speak,
Yeah,
the users, um, just so people hear this again, how many users can you have? Because a lot of places have, a lot of parishes will have multiple ministry leaders, right?
sure. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about ministry leaders or staff, you could have as many as you want to.
You
I
can.
think it really comes down to what the permission levels you would want them
Hmm.
to have. If it's basic permission levels, you could set that. You could get very granular with the permission level settings
Hmm.
within ministry platform. Really, just depends on what access level you would like them to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, this is probably, I don't know if it's a random question, but I just thought about it as I'm thinking about parishes implementing this. Um, how often do you feel, or what's the training at the parish level, right?
yeah,
Like, I have another business with my wife, and we're implementing a new software, and we know we're going to have to train our teachers on how to use this.
sure.
What do you see parishes? How do they handle that, or how do you help them handle that?
Sure. So we have a few different options for them when they're going through that implementation process. And it really comes at the end stage. Like, do we want someone on site with them? We definitely recommend that just because people learn better when people are in front of them, right? To talk them through some of the questions that they have. But we have a live virtual training process as well. And it's a weekly, so we try to get on a weekly cadence with our clients. And that could look like a typical 2 to 3 month process. It could be a little bit longer, it could be a little bit shorter. It really just depends on a few different factors. One would be the learning curve, and then staff involved. If there's more staff, it may take a few more weeks to train them. If there's less staff, we may need a little bit more personalization for them and maybe a little bit more assistance. So we even can do some offer extended training or extended customization. It really varies parish to parish. So it's not just like one size fits all. We do have a standard rollout type process,
Mm-hmm.
but we also can customize that to whatever you would need.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's
So,
ongoing as well. So, if you need some assistance 6 months down the road, we have the unlimited phone support. You could call in to get some help with that. If you need something customized, we could help you with that as well. We do have professional services that can help and additional training resources.
yeah, great. That's so great, Matt. So, our conversation really today was meant to provide the listener or viewer with, hey, when you start ministry platform, here are some key things that we're going to help you with to implement it, and some key things for you to consider. Is there anything else, Matt, that you think we didn't cover yet that you want people to hear?
Yeah, so and I could probably go on for a while on this, but I'll keep it short. I'd say another step after the staff gets up and running and understands the system a bit better, has a good grasp on it. Another step would be to really ensure that your parishioners and community are
Mm-hmm.
aware of all that Ministry Platform has to offer for more of a parishioner or visitor experience. You really need to make them aware of all the resources on your website. We talked about widgets and the parishioner experience. So this would be that and the extension of that, just it's acting like the digital front door to your parish. And this constitutes, those evangelization efforts, the opportunities to serve, events that you have going on at the parish and the groups that they could register for. Maybe it's formation registration time. So you could put things like that on your news feed and really use that to communicate with them in a multiple way aspect, just really up the engagement level with them. You could have newsletters on there, bulletins. You could automate communications, which is it's huge for staff that may not have that much time. So it really kind of takes some of the burdens off the staff and helps automate those processes to lessen the workload on them so they could get back to what they do best, which is, growing the ministry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would say would be you really got to keep up with the records in the system, right? That has to be a ongoing thing, and that whole saying about garbage in, garbage out, it really applies here. So your data is only as good as what you're putting in, and we could automate a lot of things in Ministry Platform and make things a lot easier for you. But there's going to be some manual processes there as well. It's going to rely on people to, if you want to take attendance, you got to ensure that those numbers are correct. If you're doing cash and check contributions, you got to make sure that those are correct amounts. So it goes back to that adage of garbage in, garbage out, right? But when you do this and you get better at it over time, it's going to reflect in the things like dashboards and metrics that you could see over time to measure things like activity, like contribution levels, um, just how active are people in the parish? What are the
Hmm.
households looking like? Ultimately, you really need to ensure that this data is being entered correctly.
Hmm.
Um, and it's going to dramatically improve what you get out of the software over time, because you start to see the results. You start to see it in many areas that will give you insight and tools to help with parish planning and really the activity in the future.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so those are some of my recommendations that I would
Yeah.
say. Another one would just be, don't just evaluate your software. You really need to evaluate your processes, your strategic planning, your current resources, and really even in personnel that you have in place now. And maybe think about those processes and people or things that you don't have. And maybe that could be helpful to help grow your ministry with and grow the kingdom
Hmm.
ultimately. And I'm sure you're aware, working with dioceses and parishes, that this type of planning and vision casting really goes a long way to help lay the foundation that ensures successful transition into a software like ministry platform.
Hmm.
And once
Hmm.
you have these things in place, the transition for your parish or diocese can be really fruitful for you and your community for years to come. So this
Hmm.
really just helps truly unlock the power and potential that ministry platform has to offer.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, one of the key things that you said that I think is so important for parishes is to really know a good baseline, right? And I know that's a strong business verbiage, but to really know your baseline, you get that from being efficient and effective with your data. Culling the data, cleaning it up is only going to help you truly know where things are at. And that's a good thing. Some people may be afraid of it, but it's a good thing to know that hey, this is where we are. We don't have 500 families in religious ed. We actually have 325, you know.
Right.
We clean it up, we know where we're at. It helps create that baseline.
Right. And then from there, as long as you're doing the right things, that data is going to improve over time. You're going to be able to clean that up
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to use that
Yeah.
in a positive way that's going
Yeah.
to affect your community for years to come. It's going to
Yeah.
make it easier on the staff and it'll make it better for you to serve your community and give
Yeah.
them more opportunities to help serve you.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's ultimately what it's about.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I mean, this is again, it's been a great conversation. I'm energized once again about ministry platform and talking to more pastors about it and leadership about it. Um, what are recommendations next step? I know one of the things that we want to mention is the ICSC conference, the International Catholic Stewardship Conference that's coming up in September
Yep.
very soon. You're going to be at.
We are, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll be at the ICSC conference
In Chicago.
in Chicago. I'll provide that in a second. I was trying to think about so we have ICSC coming up in Chicago. That's on September 22nd through 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
So we'll have four booths there. Trying to find the info here. So we're going to be at booths 219, 221, 320, and 322. And I think you're going to be there too, right?
Yep. Yep. We're gonna
What booth are
Catholic
you going
Slim
to be?
Discipleship's gonna have a booth as well. We'll be at booth 411. So
All right.
go see them, and then stop by and say hi to us at Catholic Slim Discipleship.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll be sure to stop by as well and say hi to you and maybe we'll go out
Yeah.
to dinner or something.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Um, We just wrapped up a webinar with our general manager, Terry Poplava, and Dr. Matt Mannion from Villanova University on leadership that revitalizes. And I think that the content was what inclusive leadership can do for your parishes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting and helpful webinar. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'll send you the link to that. There's always resources on our ACST Catholic website. So it's acstcatholic.com. Uh, Again, I'll provide all these links to Darren, and he could share them with you as well. We have a YouTube channel for ACST Catholic testimonials. These are all current parish and diocesan clients that have used ministry platform and have some good stories to share. And we also have a ACST ministry platform help link, which is located inside ministry platform for current users. We also have an external link as well. And again, stop by the booths over at ICSC. We will also be at the DFMC, the Diocesan Fiscal Management Conference in Philadelphia, September 29th and 30th. So stop by our booth there. We also have our own ACST Ministry Smart Conference, which is going to be in Nashville, October 20th through 22nd. That is a 3-day training event. And I'll have Darren post the link as well. You could register for that event. This is for current clients that may want some additional training. So it's a really fun event, right? It's all ministry platform and other solutions that we have there. You can pick and choose your different sessions that you want to be in. I mean, it's just an amazing event. That will be a 3-day event. You could register if you're a client, or there's also sessions that you could register for if you're not a current client, but just have some questions and maybe are a bit curious. And as always, you can reach out to myself. My email address is going to be Matthew, Mathew, at acst.com. My phone number is 843-413-8435. And I'll drop my colleague Brian Ellerbach's contact info as well. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today. He had some plumbing issues at his house, so praying all is well, and he got that fixed. But his email is going to be Brian E.L. at acst.com, and his phone number is 563-581-4067. And you could also call us at ACST customer support at 1-800-669-2509. They could help you out with ACS, PDS, ministry platform support, realm support, mission insight support. Really just depends on what you need. You get to talk to a live person and tell them, where you need to be routed. Or if you wanted to talk to us and you forgot my phone number, give them a call. They'll get you over to me.
Wow. Great, Matt. What a lot of great information that will be in the notes below, in the show notes below. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Matthew, thank you again for being back here. And if you are going to be attending the International Catholic Stewardship Conference in Chicago, September, please stop by, see us at our booth, see Matt at ACS Technologies, and come see myself at Catholics Living Discipleship. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you in the next episode. God bless.
Thanks, Darren. God bless.